Growing up as a kid, I've watched many classic and great Disney animated musical movies like Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, Pinocchio, Peter Pan, and the list goes on and on and on. Some are musicals, some aren't musicals, but at the end of the day, they still fall under the Disney banner. And Disney, when they really show intent of trying to make a good product, they usually produce bangers, they produce hits, they produce classics, they produce literally household names. Even though in the recent years we have seen Disney produce some pure shitters, I'm talking about the worst of the worst. But it seems that we also were about to see the worst of the worst with Wicked, because before this movie came out, there were some controversy to this movie. Like Cynthia Erivo, she kind of got too mad about a fan art that I would say fixed the poster or the promotional poster for the movie, and she got mad about it, which caused a big backlash, and a lot of fans started to not like her. So there are some little controversies before the movie of Wicked, and I kind of thought that this movie would become another live action adaptation of a beloved franchise slash story that everyone has seen, everyone has loved, and I thought that this movie would be ass and would be mediocre. But I'll be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised by this movie being genuinely good. This movie is genuinely entertaining, and as a kid, I liked musicals, not really like that, but you know, as a kid, you kind of like almost everything you see. But growing up, I kind of really started to fade away from musicals, and if I watch something that has a musical, I'm really leaning to turn it off and turn off the TV. Case in point, seeing a bad musical like Joker 2, that was one of the worst musicals I've ever seen. I thought that the Wicked movie would be a little bit cringy in how they do their music and how they implement singing elements into the movie, but they really implemented these elements well, in my honest opinion. And I'll be honest with you, the movie looks great. It looks very good. The story is good. The singing is good. The acting is pretty good. A lot of the key elements in this movie are very good. And one thing that surprised me a lot is how Disney handled real topics and touchy subjects. I'll just be honest with you, racist subjects, because almost everyone in this movie is a racist. Glinda is a racist. Fiyero, he's a hidden racist. He's a closet racist. Bach is a racist. Madame Horrible is a secret racist. The Wizard is a racist as well. Everyone were racist and they were animal abusers. So I was really shocked that Disney actually implemented these elements into this movie. And I'm pretty sure if you know this movie, if you are going to watch Wicked this week, I'm pretty sure you know about the Wicked musical that was actually inspired by The Wizard of Oz. And we all know The Wizard of Oz. If you don't know The Wizard of Oz, you may have been living under a rock these last 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. But Wizard of Oz is a household name that you should all know. And we all know about the yellow brick road, the tornado that starts the whole movie. We all know everything, and we all know about the Wicked Witch, aka Elphaba. And this movie starts off with the death of Elphaba in the future, and everyone is celebrating. Everyone in Oz is celebrating that the Wicked Witch is dead. The Wicked Witch is finally dead, and we now see the first glance of Glinda. And when we see Glinda, you know, she has real powers. She is this malevolent being that the whole citizens of Oz, they all look up to and they all worship and glory. And when Glinda comes down to reaffirm the citizens of Oz that yes, the Wicked Witch is actually dead, you guys can all celebrate. They're all celebrating. They're all happy. They're all showing pure joy that the Wicked Witch is dead due to the events of the Wizard of Oz. And one citizen now asked Glinda, wait, I thought that you knew Elphaba. Do you know Elphaba? And Glinda, at first, she hesitated to respond. But she now actually starts to say the backstory of Elphaba. And this whole movie is a giant backstory. It's a big backstory that literally shows the origins of Elphaba and Glinda and how they meet and interact with each other. And when Glinda is starting to recite what really happened and the real relationship and friendship with Elphaba, we now go back in time, back to when Glinda is a newbie. Glinda, she is completely different than how she is portrayed in the beginning of the film, because yes, she is still a klutz. She is still someone who is kind of self-centered and not egotistical, but her older self seems more level-headed when we see her in the first couple of minutes. But the real Glinda, her younger self, she is a brat. She is a nuisance. She is egotistical. She acts like she's friendly. She acts like she's doing the real good thing, but she's actually doing it for her own gain. She's actually doing it just to make herself look good. And that's exactly how we see her, because a lot of people arrive to the school of shiz, and this is a college that harnesses, you know, your not abilities, but you can harness either being in the field of law, you can actually go into the field of language arts. You know, it's kind of like a college, but you can also harness the field of being a sorcerer or a wizard if you really want to. And we see many people, many college students, they are arriving, and we now see the main theme of this video, and that is everyone here is racist. They are all racist towards Elphaba. And I'm shocked seeing some black people here. They are racist as well to Elphaba. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Y'all shouldn't be the ones that are talking right now, you know, because when we see Elphaba, they all just start to evade her presence. They all look at her, they shun her, they just look disgusted seeing her. And Elphaba is accompanied by her little sister, Nessarose. And Nessarose, she is crippled and she is basically bound to a wheelchair. And we now also see Elphaba and Nessarose's dad. And their dad is such an asshole, because we not actually see another backstory that shows Elphaba as a little girl, and Elphaba, she was protecting Nessarose from bullies because Nessarose was being bullied, but actually they were actually bullying Elphaba too because of her green skin. So Elphaba, she now actually turned mad and she now used her powers to throw rocks at them. But the dad, we now see that he's showing favoritism towards Nessarose and not Elphaba, because the birth of Elphaba caused Elphaba's and Nessarose's mom to die due to the birth implication. And that was actually mainly because of Elphaba's skin being green and her having powers as a kid. So that's why their dad really hates Elphaba. He really despises her and he really just doesn't really like her, and he usually favors Nessa instead of Elphaba. But as we now see Elphaba, she's just standing there in the college campus and she's just looking at everybody and she's telling them, no, I did not eat green grass. No, this is not some freak accident. This is who I am. And Glinda and Elphaba meet for the first time. And Glinda, she is so condescending, but she is masking it as being nice. And she is just being so rude, but masking it. And she's great at masking it, but everyone isn't great at masking it. So as all this is going on, we now see all of the faculty members in this college, and we see that the faculty members consist of animals and some goats and some pigeons or birds, and we now see other faculty members consisting of Madame Morrible and Miss Caudle. But Madame Morrible, she is like the big overseer. Basically, she is the principal. She's the person that runs this whole school. Madame Morrible, she now witnesses what is happening and she's not introducing herself to Elphaba. But the funny thing is that Glinda, she really wants to get on Madame Morrible's good side. She is a big fan of Madame Morrible and she really wants to get on her good side, but Madame Morrible is more interested in Elphaba because Elphaba, she caused this big ruckus when she just got mad, and then her powers are triggered by her emotions, and once she started to get mad, the whole furniture in that place just started to go everywhere and fly everywhere. So Madame Morrible saw that that, and she was plotting, thinking, this girl is very strong in her power. So when she comes down and she now greets everybody, she lies and states that no, that was not Elphaba doing that. That was me teaching you guys and preparing you guys for this long semester and preparing you guys as to what is to come in your teachings. Right off the bat, we are seeing that everyone does not like Elphaba except Madame Morrible. Just keep that fact in your mind, because so far, Elphaba, she's seen that the only person that really truly likes her is Madame Morrible. Now you're asking, why isn't Nessarose liking her? Well, Nessarose, in my honest opinion, she is fake throughout the movie. Every time Elphaba tries to help Nessarose always like casts her away, always shuns her away. Nessarose always thinks that Elphaba is ruining her experience. Like literally that outburst, Nessarose says, oh, why are you always ruining everything? Why are you always causing a scene? She now rolled away from Elphaba, and it was sad to see. Man, throughout the college campus, everyone hates Elphaba. Every person that sees Elphaba looks at her in disgust. And I'm shocked that they really tackled the racism element in this world like this, because it's actually pretty deep. It's deep, man. Like I heard some people in my theaters, they were crying. They were really sad in seeing this. So we now see that Glinda, she is trying to get on Madame Morrible's good side, but it doesn't work because Madame Morrible says, you know what? You're gonna be roommating with Elphaba. You're gonna be her roommate. And Glinda, she's mad. Well, not really mad, she's not showing it, but you can tell she's pretty mad, because she's like, whoa, her? You're pairing me up with her as a roommate? And when we see that, we now see how both of their styles and lives are contrasting each other. Glinda at first put Elphaba in this little room that's behind her clothes, and it was just so demeaning. Glinda's friends are so demeaning towards Elphaba. Elphaba has hate everywhere from every single corner of life that is looking at her. Her dad, her sister, her friends, her enemy, Glinda. And it's just sad seeing them hate her. And we're seeing that Madame Morrible, she is secretly trying to teach Elphaba to harness her powers and to use her powers for good. And she's noticing that Elphaba is really strong. She has raw power. So she is teaching her secretly. And she's not doing this to any other student. But we're seeing a change in Glinda's character, because Glinda, she's actually a very annoying girl, but I love her for that, because I ain't gonna lie, Ariana Grande, she killed this role, because I ain't gonna lie, if you watch Sam and Cat, you will know that Ariana Grande is a pro at playing a clueless but annoying and obnoxious character that's also funny as hell, because Glinda, that's exactly who she is. She's clueless but annoying but obnoxious but mean, and that's just all of her wrapped into one. We're seeing her and Elphaba just have animosity towards each other. When they're singing, they just have animosity and hatred towards each other. But this actually comes to a head when one of Glinda's friends sees that she actually has this ugly black hat that has a pointy tip at the top of it. And Glinda says, I will not give this to my worst enemy. But the fact is, she lied, because she gave this same hat to Elphaba. And that was a fucked up thing to do, because Elphaba is basically now Glinda's worst enemy. But a little sidetrack, there's this man named Prince Fiyero, and he comes into the school, and every girl is literally swarming at him. Every girl wants him, every girl needs him, every girl cherishes Prince Fiyero, but he sees Glinda and they fall in love at first. So this ties back into why Glinda gave Elphaba the hat, because there is a party that is coming up, and Fiyero and Glinda, everybody else are all going. And that's why Glinda gives Elphaba that hat, because in my honest opinion, I think she wanted to embarrass Elphaba in front of everybody. And this actually happens. When Elphaba finally reaches the party, she's being laughed at, she's being mocked, she's being ridiculed by every single person at that party. And it was sad to see, because the funny part is Elphaba did a favor for Glinda, because Glinda did a rude favor for Nessarose, because there's this simp named Bach. He really wants to love Glinda, but Glinda does not want to see Bach at any time of the day. So Glinda comes up with this plan that Bach will ask out Nessarose to the dance, and Bach is such a simp that he would do anything for Glinda. And Glinda says, would you do it for me? And Bach is a simp, so he says, yes, I will do anything for you, Glinda. So he now asks out Nessarose to the dance. So when Nessarose tells Elphaba is like, since she did that for you, I'll do something for Glinda. And Elphaba puts a good word out to Madame Morrible to try to tell Madame Morrible to give Glinda the wand staff. And Madame Morrible doesn't want to do that because she thinks Glinda is a liability. She thinks Glinda is trash. She has no faith for Glinda, and she even tells that to Glinda's face when she's handing her the wand. She tells Glinda, I have no faith in you. You know what I mean? So that kind of really rocked Glinda's world. And what also rocked Glinda's world and how she literally saw Elphaba was when everyone was mocking her. So Glinda, she now started to dance with Elphaba as everyone was looking, and a lot of people were shocked that this was happening. But after the dance, after this significant part of the movie happened, Glinda and Elphaba start to become somewhat of friends. They start to become good pals, and Glinda, she wants to help Elphaba change how she looks and to look good and to look presentable so that she can boost her popularity. And we're seeing that they're starting to become friends, but Glinda, her personality is so funny that she is still a dick. She is still so mean to Elphaba, so it was funny to see that, in my honest opinion. But the other side story that they tackled was animal abuse, and the way that they tackled animal abuse was actually creative because since they have animal teachers, they have animal professors. One of the professor was a goat. I forgot his name, but as he was teaching, he started to gain a bond and a trust with Elphaba. So one time before the dance, Elphaba, she actually stumbled upon all of the professors that were animals. They had a secret meeting and they were talking with each other, saying that literally, we have no more time left. The government is trying to make us not speak anymore. The government are trying to remove our ability to talk. Before, we had animals, they could dance, they could sing, they could do whatever they want, but now we're turned into cattle. So when Elphaba stumbles upon this, she now keeps this in mind. And the big thing that happened with these animals was one day in class, bro, I got mad at this because Miss Caudle, she stormed in with a lot of guards to arrest the goat professor, and this actually proves the whole conspiracy that the animals are starting to get put into cattle and put into pets, or starting to be put as slaves, starting to be put as food. And we now see this actually being showcased when a new professor, he walks in and he now starts to showcase to the students a lion, a baby lion cub that's being held in a cage. And it was so sad to see. So that Elphaba, she now uses her powers to stop all of it and make everybody sleep. Then Elphaba and Prince Fiyero, they run away, but Elphaba, she actually makes Fiyero not sleep. That's a little plot hole that they did that I didn't really understand, why Elphaba kept Fiyero to be awake in that predicament. But Fiyero ultimately held the lion cub in that cage, and they now released the lion cub, but Fiyero ran away so that he can save the lion cub and put him somewhere safe. But we see the friendship of Elphaba and Glinda is still growing, but Glinda is noticing that Prince Fiyero, he's starting to become distant, but that's not hurting their friendship. And we're now starting to see that Elphaba, she's about to be promoted. She's about to be celebrated by the wizard. The Grand Wizard has given Elphaba a note that Elphaba can come to the Emerald City. And everyone in this college is so fake, because once they heard that, they start to cheer for Elphaba. They start to cheer and to commemorate her. They're all fake racists, in my honest opinion. They're racist as fuck, but they will start to cheer for you when you're winning. That's fake right there, you know what I mean? But Glinda is cheering for Elphaba as well. Everyone is cheering for Elphaba. So when the train does come, as the train is going away, we now start to see that Elphaba wants Glinda to join in and to come on the trip to the Emerald City. So Glinda, she instantly says yes, and she now jumps on the train. They go to the Emerald City, and I ain't gonna lie, they had this long ass dance that, in my honest opinion, it kinda was pointless because they could have just showed us the wizard. But let me not complain too much. This movie is actually pretty great. But as they see the wizard, you start to notice something. The wizard is a fraud. The wizard is a sham. He has all these theatrics, all of these things, but he doesn't even know how to cast a spell. And Elphaba points that out when she's trying to bring up the animal abuse problem that has been happening that she has seen. But we see Madame Morrible come, and when Madame Morrible comes, this topic of animal abuse kind of gets forgotten about on purpose because they want Elphaba to harness her power as well and to cast a spell to make the monkeys have wings. And it's for a nefarious purpose because once Elphaba casts that spell, the wizard and Madame Morrible reveal to Elphaba and Glinda that the monkeys are only going to have wings so that they can be spies. They can be used for evil purposes. And Elphaba is mad at that. She's like, no, why are you doing this? This is sick. And Madame Morrible is showing her real colors. She's showing that she's actually the antagonist. She's showing that she has been playing Elphaba all along. She knew that Elphaba had these powers, so that she wanted to give Elphaba to the wizard so that the wizard can use Elphaba to actually keep up his charade being powerless. And Elphaba, after hearing all of this, she is so overwhelmed with emotion and anger that she lashes out. She is just lashing out, and this causes a big ruckus at the end of the movie. This causes a big scene that all the monkeys now they have wings, and Madame Morrible is telling the monkeys, telling all the guards to catch this prisoner, catch this green, disgusting, pathetic witch. She was just going in on Elphaba, and it's sad to see because Madame Morrible was the only person that Elphaba trusted in the movie. And Elphaba, you remember, she has nobody there, no dad. Her sister is so fake, in my opinion. Her sister is fake as fuck. Seeing Madame Morrible do this, Elphaba said, you know what? Fuck all these people. Fuck everybody that doubted me. Fuck everyone. She still likes Glinda, but she told Glinda, stay on that side, man. And she now actually gets the power of the broom. And that's how the movie ends, you know. The movie ends with her escaping as a fugitive. And we'll see what happens in part 2 because this is part 1. But I'll be honest with you, this video is long as fuck. I didn't mean for this video to be long as fuck, but this movie was long as fuck. It's 2 hours 40 minutes, but this movie, in my honest opinion, is great. This movie is a great movie. I'll be completely dead ass with you. I'm not even gonna lie. This movie is great. It's entertaining, it's funny, and some of the songs are pretty long, but the story, in my opinion, it holds up, it holds weight. It actually makes this movie so good. And seeing that they're already at $100 million at the box office right now, I will not be surprised if this movie hits $1 billion by the end of its screen time, by the end of its run, in my honest opinion. That's the end of the video, man. Y'all should watch this movie. I'm out. Peace.